Hello everybody and welcome back to the Daily Cooking Show. Welcome back to the cooking stream. I hope you're all having a beautiful Sunday because if you're watching this live, it is currently Sunday. It is 5 p.m. EST. It is Sunday, February 9th, and I've said Sunday 3 different times. And hello to all of my lovely sous chefs. Weez, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in. Hello to Munha. Hello to Roshi. Hello to Banner2K. Hello to Hexo. Hello to Tarina. Hello to Dosky. And to each and every single one of you joining me today. It is lovely to have you all with me. I'm really excited about today's stream. And hopefully, the stream today, the show today, is going to be a place of solace. It's going to be a place of refuge for some of you. Because if you guys know anything about me, you will know that I am not somebody who is particularly athletic. You will also know that I am not somebody who is particularly interested in watching any kind of sports whatsoever besides esports. And so, despite the fact that we have, essentially the great cultural institution, the great American cultural holiday happening at the moment, we have the Super Bowl. I have no nostalgia for it. I have nothing particularly associated with it that I'm that excited about. Also, J.N. O'Collins, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you, as well as to Shark Dog. But everybody, I have no nostalgia for the Super Bowl whatsoever. However, what I really do like is just, the real peak Americana cuisine. Specifically, the kinds of things that I love buffalo chicken. I feel like buffalo chicken and like a buffalo chicken dip is one of those things that are really commonly associated with like a Super Bowl food, or like at least like an American party food. And I have a soft spot for it. I love Frank's Red Hot Sauce. It is probably one of my favorite flavors to date, and so I was feeling like, okay, this would be actually a very nice, appropriate time to do so, because the food that we do here, is not necessarily always just home cooking. It's not necessarily just always things that you're eating on a daily basis. Sometimes we also want to show off dishes that you can make that when you want to accommodate somebody else, when you have some guests over, when you're feeling a little bit more festive, and you're not really worried about calorie intake or getting enough fiber. And let me tell you guys, both of those dishes today that we're doing are not particularly nutritious, but they will be really, really tasty. So we're going to be doing two things today. We're going to be doing my take on a buffalo chicken dip, and it's just going to be shredded chicken. It's going to be in a little lovely buffalo sauce. We're going to do a blue cheese dressing that's going to go over the top, all of it from scratch. And then alongside it, we're just going to be doing a twice baked potato today. I had some potatoes in the fridge, and I was feeling like I really wanted a baked potato. I've been on a big baked potato kick. And so those will be the two things that we do today. It's not going to be that long of a stream, all things considered. Everything that we're going to be doing today is relatively simple, but I'm going to give you guys in-depth explanations as to why we do each and everything. So, guys, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you all with me. For those of you that are joining me for the first time, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any and all cooking questions whatsoever, please remember that I would love for you to ask me. It can be about this dish, it can be about something else, but I am here to teach you guys how to be able to cook at home. And without further ado, let's go ahead and walk through all of my different ingredients for today. So, for the buffalo chicken, guys, we have, well, guess what? We have Frank's Red Hot, as well as 2 chicken breasts right here. Now, theoretically, if you don't have Frank's Red Hot, or if you don't like Frank's Red Hot, you could do really sort of any vinegar-based pepper sauce, right? I would sort of distinguish pepper sauces from hot sauces, because pepper sauces, the goal isn't to be particularly spicy, but they're usually vinegar and quite a few other spices added inside. Frank's Red Hot is the classic hot sauce, is the classic red pepper sauce that is used for anything buffalo chicken, right, on buffalo wings. Although Cristal and a couple of other brands can also be used fine. But again, a lot of people would get upset at you if you don't use Frank's Red Hot. As long as it is a vinegar-based red pepper sauce, then you will be a-okay, my friends. So, Frank's Red Hot, super, super essential. Next, we're going to be going in with 2 big, beautiful chicken breasts that we have here today. These are just plain skin-off chicken breasts. I did not feel like buying a whole chicken this time around because, again, my friends, we're just going to be making nothing but this shredded buffalo chicken dip today. Is Tabasco just red vinegar? That's a good question, Serena. I'm not actually totally sure about the composition of Tabasco, but for something like this, it would be probably way too spicy to use in the quantities that we would like. The benefit of Frank's Red Hot, because it is such a mild red pepper sauce, is that we get to use a lot of it, and we get to really get that chili flavor, we really get to have that vinegar flavor without too much of the heat. So, I have 2 massive chicken breasts today. We're going to be cooking it, and we're going to be shredding it down. You could theoretically use, for something like this, like a chicken thigh if you really like to. But the reason why we want a chicken breast is because it has these nice long fibers, okay? And these nice long fibers, they're going to be able to mop up the sauce, and we don't want too much of the fat of the chicken thigh. We're going to be adding in so much heavy cream. This is going to be a very rich dish. It's going to be full of cheese. So you want to do something a little bit leaner, like a chicken breast, okay? Yeah, you got it, Roshi. Absolutely. Okay, next, let's go ahead and talk about some of my potatoes here. I have 4, any sort of russet potato will be just fine for this today. I have 4 russet potatoes that I have thoroughly scrubbed, of course, beforehand. And everybody, we're going to be doing real proper baked potatoes, not foil wrapped in inside of the oven, and definitely not microwaved potatoes. And we're going to be talking about the differences in the texture, and then we'll be scooping it open and then getting the filling ready, and it's going to be really delicious. For the buffalo chicken dip, we're also going to be cooking down 2 onions, which we'll talk about in a second. For the blue cheese dressing, we also have some lovely lemon. And then we're also going to be including some garlic inside of the blue cheese dressing, as well as in the stuffed baked potatoes, the twice baked potatoes. Also, Bimik, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. I will put that down behind me. Next, everybody, well, for the blue cheese dressing, you're of course going to need a little bit of blue cheese. And then also for the baked potatoes, as well as for the chicken today, I'm going to be using some pepper jack cheese. Daramgar, are you the Super Bowl halftime show? Well, I suppose, Liam. At this point, I basically am, aren't I? Yeah, I have no interest in watching the Super Bowl, guys. If you're here to talk about football, I will know nothing about it. Okay. So, I will put that down behind me. Next, guys, for me, you can't really have a baked potato without scallions. So these guys are going to be loaded up with some freshly sliced scallions, as well as for the chicken dip. For the buffalo chicken dip, we're going to be garnishing it with a bunch of fresh scallions and cilantro on top. Granted, scallions and cilantro, they're not particularly in the flavor context of what we would consider buffalo chicken, but it's delicious. You're gonna want something to freshen it up anyways, you know? Dara has to stop the stream in a couple of minutes. They're subbing her in as a quarterback during the second half. Thank you, Nimbus. Thanks for letting everybody know. Okay, so remember, guys, I talked to you and I told you this is not going to be a particularly nutritious, not a particularly light dish today. Well, guess what? We're going to have the big 3. We're going to have heavy cream going into the buffalo chicken dip. We're going to have sour cream going into the dressing, as well as some mayonnaise. And then also for the baked potatoes, we're going to need that heavy cream to give it a nice light, fluffy texture. So we got a lot going on, right? We're gonna do a mix of sour cream and mayonnaise for the dressing, heavy cream into the buffalo chicken, as well as into the baked potato today. So we're going to need a good amount of all of those different things. Last but not least, everybody, what do we have? I have some paprika that I wanted to just add into the baked potatoes, because why not? Just some smoked paprika. And then finally, I have some fresh cilantro, which is going to be used as a garnish over the buffalo chicken dip, just so that we can give it some freshness, I suppose, right? Just a little bit at the end. Are scallions more like green onions or more like chives? Scallions and green onions are interchangeable terms. Scallions and green onions refer to the same thing, although sometimes you'll see green onions also referred to like the really larger bulbous ones that are oftentimes grilled in Mexican food. But typically green onions and scallions mean the same exact thing. So, everybody, that is all the different ingredients for today. If everybody is ready, I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from you all, please and thank you. That would be lovely. Please and thank you. Also, Sailor Juno, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Okay, so I did the housekeeping beforehand, but let's just do it again. Guys, if you have any and all cooking questions, please feel free to ask me. It can be about this, it can be about something else. Next, if you would like, the best way to go ahead and support the show is my Patreon. You can type in !Patreon. Also, join the Discord if you haven't already. I want to get more people in there. I want to get more people talking about food in there. I want you guys to post the pictures of the things that you cook. And if you ever have a cooking question outside of the show, all you have to do is just ask in the Discord. So join the Discord. We have a lovely community, and I would love to get you guys in there. So that's enough, loves. We are going to begin with the baked potatoes for today. And for the baked potatoes, guys, I've already set my oven to about 350 degrees. So I have my cutting board right here, where I'm going to demonstrate what we do with the potatoes. So I have 4 lovely russet potatoes. We need to talk about potato choice, and then we also have to talk about the method of cooking. A lot of people, they love to microwave a potato. Okay, they love to microwave a potato, or they like to bake it. How many times have you gone to like a restaurant and you got a baked potato only for it to be wrapped in foil? My friends, let me tell you something right now. Those are not baked potatoes. Those are essentially just steamed potatoes. For a real, proper, actual baked potato, you want them to bake naked. And you want them to bake naked because it almost, we reduce a little bit of the moisture, we get a much more intense potatoey flavor, and we're able to really crisp up and flavor the skin. The reason why people cook potatoes in a microwave or they bake the potatoes in aluminum foil is to simply expedite the cooking process and for it to be a little bit more forgiving to the skin itself. But with good technique, guys, we will be able to maximize the potato flavor that we have in here. So, there is nothing wrong with a microwaved potato or with a foil-baked potato if you just wanted something really quick and something really, really easy. But if you really want to be able to maximize flavor and to be able to get the optimal texture, especially the optimal texture on the skin itself, I highly recommend baking them empty. Now, really, really important. We're going to be baking these on not just a sheet tray, but you do have two options. You're either going to be using a rack like this, or you're going to be using a little bed of salt. The reason why we need to have this is because if we just put it directly onto the metal itself, we risk the baked potatoes almost scorching on the bottom. Instead of having a nice crispy skin and a very, very custardy potato on the inside that we get to scoop out easily, what we end up with is essentially a baked potato with the bottom part of it almost unusable. Okay? So, really, really important, guys, you either bake it on a rack or you bake it on a bed of like chunky salt. Those are the two options that you have. Also, Shai Chica, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. Okay, next, let's go ahead and talk about the two different kinds of, well, not two different kinds, but let's just talk about the kinds of potatoes that you can use for this. And ideally, guys, you would just use a russet potato. An Idaho potato would be a type of russet potato. And that's just because they are ideal for baking. Something like a Yukon Gold tends to be a little bit too custardy for baking. Something like a red potato, a little bit too dense, a little bit too dry. You really, really want to stick to russet potatoes. Okay, and so guys, the preparation for these is super simple. We don't even necessarily need to worry about seasoning them. It's not like the salt is going to somehow penetrate into the potato and season it from the inside out. We're just going to be essentially baking these blind. However, with the addition of two things. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to poke it all over with a fork. Now, why do we poke it all over with a fork? Because sometimes potatoes may or may not explode if they build up enough pressure on the inside, or at least so people say. I'm going to err on the side of caution. You don't have to poke holes into it if you don't really want to, but it's just kind of like a just-in-case kind of thing. It's a thing that people talk about. It's not something that I've actually physically experienced, besides once in the microwave. I've definitely had a potato almost rupture, but we're just going to go ahead and poke it all over, my friends. Those are some hefty potatoes indeed. But I have to say, actually, Liam, these are kind of on the smaller side, all things considered. These are definitely not super huge potatoes. Also, Tarina, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Thank you, it's very appreciated. So just go all over. You don't have to go too crazy. Hate to break it to you, chef, but did you know that British people invented this dish type? Liam, I sincerely doubt that British people invented baked potatoes because it is kind of like one of the oldest preparations to just kind of like shove a potato into like a big oven or just to throw it into like an open fire and hope that it cooks on the inside. I would really, really struggle to believe that the Brits were the first one to invent such a preparation because if I'm not mistaken, aren't potatoes a New World crop? Ever forget to poke an eggplant? Yeah, trash can cat mom. That one is a very, very obvious example of what you don't want to do. You will return with your research? Thank you, Liam. It is appreciated. Okay, so we don't actually want to bake these completely blind, my friends. We do want to add in a little bit of oil. And in the meantime, I'm also just going to put my cheese and my herbs away into the fridge, all of my dairy products, just so that they don't spoil or anything. So give me one moment's time. We are just going to brush a little bit of oil on them. And that, guys, it really, really helps for the heat to conduct evenly all around the potato. And it also helps the skin to not be as dry and leathery, but helps it to just be ever so slightly crispy. Okay? So you're welcome to sort of eat the whole baked potato that way without having that really unpleasant dry skin. It's also why people microwave their potatoes. Some people, they probably just bake their potato as it is. They hated the texture of the skin, and so they wanted the soft, tender skin of like a microwave or a foil baked potato. Guys, a little bit of oil goes a super, super long way for something like this. So, that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna grab a little bit of oil. I'm I'm going to grab a brush. Any sort of oil is going to be fine. Avocado oil, canola oil. There's no need to use something as nice as, you know, olive oil for something like this today. Okay? Just a little bit of avocado oil, and then it'll be good. We all know the British are known for their excellent culinary expertise. That's right, Nimbus. But I'm not going to call you Nimbus. I'm calling you Roshi. Sorry about that. Okay. So I have my potatoes, once again on a rack so that they don't scorch on the bottom in the oven. And I'm just going to go ahead and just gently brush these bad boys. Just brush them all over until we are satisfied that they're all nice and evenly coated. It was from the Andes, some say Peru. Okay, there you go. So indeed, it is a New World crop, and it is also a very, very common Latin American preparation. If you're like doing like sort of like meats over an open fire, you will almost always see potatoes. You'll almost always see potatoes be served with them, especially with like sausage. Very lovely, very delicious. All right, brush it all over, guys. Get them done. Again, just really, really helps the skin to not be so leathery, to not be so unpleasant. Okay. And then everybody, we have something controversial coming on up. We actually have two controversial things after this, but I promise you, it's all gonna be okay. All right, come on, my friend. Get brushed, get brushed, get brushed, get brushed. Beautiful. Okay. All of my potatoes, nice and evenly brushed, sitting over a wire rack. Or you know what, guys? If you'd really like to, you can even just put it into the oven rack as it is. You don't necessarily need a separate baking sheet if you're cool with like a little tiny bit of oil sticking to your oven grates. But you could theoretically just kind of put these as it is into the oven. So, 350 degrees for an hour. Let's do a little quick recap here. We're using russet potatoes. These are the best texture for baking. We're not going to be doing it in the microwave, and we're not going to be doing it in aluminum foil so that we get a nice crispy skin and we get a very nice dense custardy potato on the inside. Okay, we're going to be slightly brushing them with oil to make sure that the skin is nice and crispy, and then we're baking them over a wire rack instead of just a plain sheet tray. I know this seems like a crazy amount of stuff for just a plain baked potato, but I promise you guys all of these steps are really, really essential. Yo, I bet getting brushed feels good if you're a potato on a rack. That's right. Okay, so let's see. Sunny Peach Crush asks, Chef, if I vanish for the entire Super Bowl weekend, what should I cook for my partner when I come back? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if it's really going to be after the Super Bowl weekend, then I don't think you really need something like what we're preparing today. Is your partner going to be upset if you're gone through the whole Super Bowl weekend? And in that case, well, you can always just make a steak, and a steak always makes everybody feel better. Okay, all these potatoes, I'm gonna go ahead and just get them inside of the oven, guys. 350 degrees, anywhere between 350 and 375, and it should take about an hour, but after about 40 minutes of baking or so, that's when we're gonna pull it out and see if a knife easily slides into it. We don't wanna overcook it, so that again, we don't really compromise the texture of the potato. Also, Static Gaming, welcome on in. So, slowly bake them away, my friends. And I'm setting a timer for 40 minutes for us to go ahead and check in on them. Okay, guys, it is now time for a slightly controversial step. We're going to be pressure cooking my chicken. And the reason why I love doing the pressure cooker for the chicken is because it's able to cook it really quickly to the point that it just shreds and collapses and completely falls apart. However, we're not going to be searing this chicken. We're not going to be baking it, we're not roasting it, we're not broiling it. We are simply taking these two massive chicken breasts and cooking them with water and salt until they fall apart. And before everybody starts to get in a tizzy going, oh, the boiled chicken, what a tragedy. I need a second to be able to explain this really quickly. You want to get really nice, big, beautiful shreds of chicken. This is going to be a dish that is completely saturated with cheese and hot sauce, and then a blue cheese dressing on top, and then scallions and cilantro. Everybody, I promise you right now, if you took the extra 10 to 15 minutes of searing the chicken beforehand, before pressure cooking it because it makes you feel better about yourself, you will not actually feel a noticeable difference in the end product. That little bit of browning, that little bit of roasting that you get onto the chicken, it will be completely and totally negligible. I promise you guys, you will not be able to taste it in the end product of such a dressed dish. It's really important that we think about which techniques we apply and why. What is the purpose of even applying these techniques to something? If we want to just serve a chicken breast by itself and we want to get it seared and nice and crispy and flavorful, or we're building a stew and we want to get all of that fond developed on the bottom, then go ahead and sear your chicken. Guys, I am just looking for a really, really beautiful shredded piece of chicken. And we don't even necessarily need to season this with anything other than salt, because any of the seasonings that we add later on, the heavy cream, the hot sauce, the pepper itself, it's going to get mixed into the shreds. It doesn't actually have to cook with the seasoning at this stage. Chef, what if you air fry it? And Liam, you will simply get a very dry, chalky texture on the outside of the chicken. So, that is why, guys, I have my pressure cooker pot here, and I'm literally just going to be adding the chicken with water, with salt, and calling it a day. Okay? So I hope you guys don't get too upset about that. And if you have any questions about this, please feel free once again to ask me. Okay. I'm going to need to go ahead and grab some tongs. Let's get the chicken breast inside, and we're going to thoroughly season it with salt. But again, guys, if you're a little bit short on salt, we can always add more salt later on. The magic of shredded chicken, in a way, is that we get to basically forcibly put any seasonings inside of it, purely from the fact that we have completely decimated and destroyed its texture. But a little bit of salt in the cooking process itself will hopefully allow us to retain some slightly juicier chicken. I do wonder if dry brining it would even be like a good step for something like this. So again, there's going to be plenty of salt, there's going to be plenty of seasonings later on added into this. I'm just reassuring you guys for the time being. Okay, salt goes in, and we're just going to go ahead and flip it, season the other side, and then just about cover it with water. But everybody, let me tell you something right now. You don't need to add aromatics to this liquid. You don't need to add bay leaves. You don't have to waste your chicken stock on something like this. I promise you, this is not going to just be a boiled chicken at the end of the day. Any spices going into the chicken only after it is shredded, Sunny Peach Crush. Okay? So guys, you just have to trust me on this. It has become such a recent thing for everybody to get so upset about, oh, boiled chicken, it's evil, it's horrible, it's terrible. When it comes to shredding chicken, you just have to trust me on this one. And I'm using a pressure cooker just because it makes it so fast. Okay? So, salt heavily both sides. These are pretty big chicken breasts. So honestly, in total, this is going to take maybe 15 minutes of high pressure, 15 to 20 minutes of high pressure cooking, okay? And then we're just going to need just enough water for the chicken breast to be mostly covered, okay? You don't really want to have a lot of exposed chicken on top, because that part really tends to dry out. It tends to get really, really chalky. And that is not what we're looking for, my friends. So I'm just getting, once again, enough water in there just to be able to cover everything really nicely. And again, don't worry, we don't have to use a chicken stock for this. We don't have to use bay leaves. We don't have to include onion in here. We don't have to include aromatics. The goal of the water is just to evenly conduct the heat over the chicken itself. Please, everybody, do not fear the boiled chicken. Do not fear the pressure cooked chicken. You just really, really don't want any of the flesh on top and exposed. And it's not going to be that appealing as soon as it cooks. But trust me, once it shreds and we mix it in, it'll be lovely. That's enough talking about the chicken, though, in the meantime. And we could probably add more salt if we want to. But again, we're going to be able to add more later. Okay, wonderful. And if we don't have any questions about this process, then we'll just move on to the cooking of it. So, high pressure, about 15 minutes. And what we're essentially doing is we're just cooking the chicken to the point where it completely collapses, where it completely falls apart. And then, my friends, it almost becomes like a brush. It almost becomes like a mop. It is able to soak up anything and everything around it, okay? Because of all of the extra surface area that we get from the shredded chicken. And it's gonna be lovely and excellent. So, let's get that inside right about now. 15 to 20 minutes of high pressure, easy. We'll take it out and then we'll shred it. You really just want to cook it until the point it falls apart. Everybody, if you take it out and it's not falling apart and it's not falling apart tender, then you can just put it back in as much time as it needs. Chef, what is buffalo sauce actually made of? Or at least your version? Liam, that is an amazing question, which I will answer for you in just a second after I set my pressure cooker on. Oh my God, I have to spin this wheel. Okay. Okay, so Eliam asks, what is buffalo sauce actually made of, or at least your version? Really, really good question. So, buffalo sauce is traditionally just supposed to be a wing sauce. Buffalo sauce, really important, is comprised of Frank's Red Hot, okay, and melted butter. And that is about it for a really, really traditional, classic buffalo wing. The wings are fried completely naked. You don't actually put them into any starch, you don't put them into any flour. If you fry them correctly, at the proper temperature, the skin itself just becomes crispy on its own. And then the sauce is a mixture of Frank's Red Hot and melted butter. The proportion of which justifies how hot it is. For example, medium buffalo sauce is literally half Frank's Red Hot, half melted butter. Mild is 75% melted butter, 25% Frank's Red Hot. Hot is 75% Frank's Red Hot, 25% melted butter. Now, the thing that we're doing today is we're not actually going to be including any sort of butter inside of the final product because it's not a buffalo wing. Instead, we're going to be using heavy cream as sort of the basis for the cheese to melt into. And the reason why we're calling it buffalo is just because it's chicken and Frank's Red Hot. Can you apply ranch sauce while cooking or after? Well, Sunny Peach Crush, there is no ranch in this. This is a blue cheese exclusive household. I love blue cheese, and we're only going to be garnishing it essentially with the blue cheese dressing. Also, Rishi, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Tarina asks, why do they say butter mounted or mounting with butter? It's such a strange word choice. Tarina, I'm pretty sure it might just be like a French translation kind of thing, right? I don't know. You could just say like finishing it with butter. I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact etymology of why they say mounting it with butter. I'm afraid I'm not too helpful in that regard. Okay, so let's talk about everything else that we need to do in the meantime. My potatoes are in the oven. My chicken is pressure cooking. The next thing that we're going to be doing is the onion component for the chicken. Now, this is going to be the third controversial thing. And we're going to do a little bit of a lesson on essentially caramelized onions and what actually makes them so sweet and the reason why we're not caramelizing them. So everybody, I would love to hear a nice yes chef from everybody watching, please, and thank you. It is indeed a denim apron, Rishi. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so this is pretty interesting, and there's a really, really big misconception. A lot of people fry onions and they caramelize onions because they think it makes it sweeter. And it does, but it doesn't actually make it sweeter for the reasons that you think. People think that the browning action itself is what makes onions go from here to here in terms of their sweetness, but that is not true. Browning the onions simply makes them a little bit nuttier. But what only makes the onions sweeter is a couple of things. First of all, by collapsing them, releasing the water and evaporating the excess liquid, we are concentrating the onions. And then the second thing is simply with extended heat over time, the onions become so soft and the starches turn into sugars. They don't actually need to brown or caramelize for that to take place. I don't want to do caramelized onions inside of this buffalo chicken dip simply because this is going to be so rich as it is. It's going to have heavy cream. It's going to have also this dressing, this blue cheese dressing that has sour cream and mayonnaise inside of it as well. We don't really want to have these super, super sweet, nutty caramelized onions. And the second thing is the nuttiness of the caramelized onions with the really, really strong Frank's Red Hot sauce, as well as the dressings that we're doing on top, it's just going to get lost. It would be additional butter, making it heavier than it needs to be, and the nuttiness would also just get lost. There is no point in browning or caramelizing or frying the onions, but instead, we're just gonna stew the onions down for an extended period of time. So, a lot of really big controversial choices today, but I promise you we're going to get the sweetness, we're going to get the flavor out of the onions without all the other stuff going on. So I hope that makes sense to all of you. And then after this, I think that will be the end of all of my controversial choices. So let's go ahead and begin. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just take 2 onions, I'm gonna slice them down, and then we're gonna cook them down in a little bit of water. It is just that simple. So I'm just here to help you guys understand why things happen in the kitchen the way they do. I'm here to help you guys understand that things don't necessarily always taste the way, they don't always have the effect that they do for the reasons that you might think. So I have these 2 small little onions because of course, even through the process of cooking them down, they're going to get really, really sweet. They're going to lose a lot of volume, hence the aggressive quantity. Did my music stop? My music did stop. I have to go ahead and loop it again. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and cut off both the top and the bottom of each of my lovely little onions here. Off they go. Then we're going to slice them in half, giving us a nice stable, flat cutting surface. Wait, Roshi, I'm not sure what you're referring to. What are you talking about here? Peel them, open them up, get them out of here. Of course, any sort of trimmings will always go into the waste bowl. And that layer of onion is just a little bit more papery than the rest. So that guy's going to get, unfortunately, tossed and wasted. Oh, you know, I'm not gonna, I don't really want to say that out loud, guys. It sounds like a slur. So I'm okay. I'm not gonna say that one out loud. But yes, I have the jeans apron on. I'm okay. Yeah, the denim apron. A dapron is gonna be fine. All right, lovely little onions, guys. We're going to go ahead and slice them. Really, really simple technique because we're only really cutting the onions. I guess we can focus on that for a moment, guys. So for any good claw grip, your pinky and your thumb are the things holding the thing down, the thing that you're cutting, that is. And then your top three fingers, your index finger, middle finger, and ring finger, are the ones guiding the knife itself. And so for any good claw grip, the really, really essential part is you never lift the knife above the knuckles. If you never lift the edge above the knuckles themselves, you'll never cut yourself. So you want to start off nice and slowly, and we're going to slice it. We're going to pull it all the way through. And then whenever the onion surface gets a little bit small and unstable, we can just simply flip it over on itself and keep on cutting. And the way that we cut these doesn't really matter too much because by the time that they stew and by the time that they cook down, they would have essentially completely collapsed. Chef, have you ever made a shepherd's pie live on stream? We sure did a few streams ago. Sunny Peach Crush. The VOD has not been uploaded onto YouTube yet, I believe. But we did, and it was excellent. It was phenomenal. It came out really, really beautiful. I believe I posted a clip of it online. So, slice it, slice it, slice it, get it all done, get it all processed. Excellent. Just like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into a little pot. We're going to add in a little bit of water just so that the onions don't burn on the bottom. We're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to essentially keep it with the lid on, simmering for about 10 minutes, and then we'll try to evaporate as much of that liquid as we can. And I promise you, while we might not get the complexity of a caramelized onion, we'll definitely get the sweetness of it. The only real benefit to a caramelized onion is because of the inclusion of the fat itself. You're able to evaporate more liquid since the fat component does stop the onions from burning at the bottom. So in this case, we won't be able to facilitate as much evaporation as possible. So Sleepy Godzilla, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. But as you might notice, I'm not crying at all. There is no crying to be had if you're always slicing it with a really nice sharp knife. With a nice sharp knife, you minimize crushing the onion as much as possible. So getting all of the onions into my little pot with a bench scraper, and I am using a non-stick pot intentionally for this. It's just, again, going to stop it from sticking and burning as much. And so we're going to go in with a little bit of water, bring it up to a simmer, cook it down until it essentially becomes the super tasty onion mush. A few little bits of water. Pot it goes onto the stove. It depends on the onions, how strong they are. This seems like a mild one. That is not entirely true. So, depending on the onion, of course, each onion is going to be a little bit different in its pungency. Especially older onions, they tend to make you cry a little bit more. But if you have a dull knife, if you crush it on the way back down, if you don't gently slice it, but if you chop it on going through it, I promise you, you will cry more. It is a misconception that crying while cutting onions is unavoidable. With a nice sharp knife, you will mitigate it. You will significantly mitigate it. What if cutting onions makes me sad? Well, Risen Demon, those are your own problems to deal with. So, water, salt, gonna go into the onions now. And the salt is just going to help to cook them down a little bit faster. But again, because of the fact it's all gonna get mixed into the buffalo chicken dip, it's gonna be just fine. You should never have a dull knife in the kitchen in the first place. Absolutely, gooses. But a lot of people do, especially a lot of home cooks. They do tend to have dull knives in the kitchen, and that is why they end up crying a disproportionately large amount. If you try to grate an onion, that really crushes it, and then you'll really feel the tears coming on. If you try to put it into the blender and you stick your face into it, it crushes and destroys it, so it produces all of the stuff that is responsible for making you cry. Sunny Peach Crush, there is no football questions that will be answered by me here whatsoever. I'm afraid that I am not going to be able to help you with that. Not my place to go ahead and do so. So, onions inside, chicken is pressure cooking, potatoes are going. Let's talk about everything else that we need to go ahead and get done for today. So, for the buffalo chicken dip, once the chicken is fully cooked, it's just going to shred very easily. It's going to go ahead and fall apart. Sunny Peach Crush asks, would you recommend the onion slicers on Amazon? And I do have a really good answer for you there, which is the following. Innately, limited devices like those will only be able to give you limited results. They're not going to cut it nearly as nicely as a knife will. You won't be able to control the different size, and it's also going to take up a lot more space than a knife. However, they do exist as important accessibility tools for the people that need them. I strongly recommend people to get unitasking devices if it's a task that they do not like doing. But I am here to show you how to really, really love every single bit of cooking in the kitchen. I'm here to show you how to love aspects of vegetable prep and how to get really good at it. So would I recommend the onion dicers? Well, I recommend it to those that think that they need it. But before you think that you need it, let's try doing it very nicely with a knife first, is my answer for you, Sunny Peach Crush. Okay, so buffalo chicken dip. After the chicken is done cooking, it's going to shred and it's going to fall apart. It's then going to go into a solution of heavy cream, Frank's Red Hot, and a bunch of black pepper. And then it's going to be mixed in with the stewed onions. I don't want my onions to be completely mixed in throughout. I essentially want little teeny tiny pockets of stewed onions that will sort of drop in there, and then we'll nest it all under just a little bit of pepper jack cheese. It's going to bake until it's nice and hot. It's going to get garnished with the blue cheese dressing, as well as fresh scallions and fresh cilantro right on top. As for the double cooked potatoes, for the double baked potatoes, we need to prepare all the stuff for the filling, which is going to be heavy cream. It's also going to be the pepper jack cheese. And then we're also going to be dicing and slicing a whole bunch of scallions inside. So I think because of the fact that we're going to need shredded cheese and we're going to need scallions for just about everything else, let's go ahead and do both of those right now. So back to this, back to my cutting board. Let's get my scallions out. What's above the stove and below the microwave? Oh, you're talking about my little sort of like Turkish coffee pots. I don't exactly know the name of them, but that is what they're used for. Okay, scallions. Guys, as always, you can never have too many scallions. And I do have a bit of advice for all of you that is really, really important and really, really applicable here. So, oftentimes, I have a question for all of you. How many times do you buy scallions from the grocery store, you open them, and then you find that a lot of the greens, they look almost wilted. They look almost like they're falling apart, that they look really brown and they don't look all that good to eat. How many times has that happened to all of you? Because I'd be guessing a good amount. They're limp, they're not super firm, they tend to be falling apart a little bit, they're a little bit squishier. 7 out of 10, right? Quite a bit of kame, okay. So, there is a solution to this, and everybody, that is because there is a difference between bruised greens and slightly wilted greens. And let me talk to you about the difference. So for slightly wilted greens, imagine indeed like wilted parsley, imagine like a limp head of lettuce or so. That is literally just because it has lost a little bit of moisture over time. Okay, if they seem to be really, really flaccid, if they seem to be really, really soft, almost always it is because it is just simply at a loss of a little bit of water. And the thing that fixes it is simply soaking it in ice cold water, or not necessarily ice cold, but just cold water until it seems to firm up a little bit. Also, State Affiliated Media, thank you so much for the sub, I really appreciate it. But the other thing, the thing that can't actually be fixed is if it is bruised. If you actually physically take it and you were to go ahead and you were to really, really crunch it up and destroy the cells in there, then it's always going to stay limp that way, and it's not really going to brighten up. So the piece of advice that I have for all of you guys is whenever you're buying scallions that seem to be a little bit wilted, whenever you're buying lettuce that seems to be a little bit wilted, after you cut off the roots and stuff, let it soak in some cold water. And then you can go ahead and remove any of the bruised leaves. And the bruised ones will be almost slimy. They'll be really dark brown, they'll be slimy. Those ones you will absolutely know are not that good for eating. They will not have the texture that you want. So I bought these scallions. They looked a little bit sad at the grocery store, guys, but even the thinnest ones, even the thinnest greens that I went ahead and I separated, they're all relatively firm and crunchy for today. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just thinly slice all of these. Some of these are going to get mixed into the potatoes because I love scallions with potatoes. You can never really go wrong with that. Guys, the onions have been brought up to a boil, so now I'm gonna leave the lid half open like so, to the best of my abilities, but it really seems to be keen on shutting. Okay, I don't want these to be too thin, I don't want these to be too thick. I'm just going to go ahead and nicely slice these scallions. So, remember how I talked about the claw grip before? The pinky and the thumb keep the stack together. The top 3 fingers are there to simply guide the knife. The biggest mistake that everybody makes, and I want to hear another yes chef, the biggest mistake that everybody makes with a claw grip is the following. They put the weight of their hand down on a stack, and then they drag it back and they pull the food with them. You're supposed to simply be able to glide your hand back. You want to glide your hand back without moving the stack. The point of the pinky and the thumb is to simply keep it together and your top 3 fingers rest on it. So first, just make sure that you can practice that motion, because now guys, when we glide the hand back, when we glide it back, the stack does not move with us. We keep it together, and we move it back. So slice it all the way through and obtain, well, I think I'm going way too thick on these to go ahead and properly demonstrate. Got some scallions on the floor as well. And then of course, when you do get down to the last little bit of it, when it starts to rolling around, that is when I do go ahead and put a little bit of pressure in with my top 3 fingers. But the goal is to be able to glide. It is to glide. Okay, so any of those big pieces that I ended up missing, I'm just going through one more time, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add it all to my bowl. It's something that takes a lot of practice, especially if you want to be able to do it quickly. This, guys, takes practice, it takes time, and it takes repetition. It is a fairly technical little bit of muscle memory, but I promise you, once you get there and you're able to do it fast, it is one of the most satisfying things that you can do in the kitchen. Okay, so let's take these scallions once again, and let's stack them up. And it's a little bit awkward if the length of the thing is longer than the length of your hand. So sometimes I do recommend just sort of cutting it in half. But country girls, make do. Gliding it back, but still keeping the stack together, squeezing it each time I'm going in for a slice. There you go. There you go. And now just at the end, that's when I'm pushing it down. King Wavino, welcome on in. But if you would like to be here, I really do not recommend making fun of the way that I speak. It's not a typically very nice thing to do. Why'd you do that? I would love to hear what you got going on. Okay, there you go. Scallions inside the bowl. That's okay. It's just a little bit disrespectful. I'm not that upset about it. Okay, ooh, we got somebody challenging me in chat. Guza said, I can't, I'm watching and I'm laughing. She doesn't know how to chop. You need to learn fingers to not cut them. That is the main reason. You also need to hold the tip of the blade on the table and lift arm up. No, that is not true. Everybody, ooh, okay. This is something I'm really excited about. I just got challenged on something. Guzes, very, very incorrect. This is the cordon bleu school of thought about how to slice and how to cut things. This is what they go ahead and teach. I'm not gonna do this to my really nice knives, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a different knife. Gooses, I would love for you to watch and listen as to why this isn't so good. This is a very, very not so good Wusthof classic knife that's super, super dull, but I keep it around for demonstrations. So let me go ahead and show you something. This is what Gooses is talking about. This rolling cut, this rolling cutting motion. And let me tell you why I consider it to actually be an incredibly ineffective knife motion. Let me show you. First of all, this part of the knife, what is it doing? Is it cutting food? It is not. It is grinding down into your hard cutting board and disproportionately dulling it before everything else is. I don't really care about the cutting board, but it does just really, really rapidly dull your knife. So this is what they teach, and they say this is the proper rolling cutting motion. So I intentionally disagree with that. Second thing that's going on here, you're not actually getting a slice. You are getting a chop down. The difference between a chop and a slice is that a chop cleaves it outwards and a slice gently cuts it. A chop crushes more, especially if you're doing something as delicate and as dainty and as fine of a scallion. Okay? It crushes it a little bit more and it prevents you from getting really, really perfectly fine slices. I'd really highly encourage you to go ahead and like watch a video of just like, you know, let's just say in like a katsu restaurant, the way that they're slicing cabbage by hand, or how they're slicing scallions by hand. And I'd really, really implore you to take a look at that, because the scallions are tied up, and the knife is lifted. It's never dragged across the cutting board, it never dulls across the cutting board, and everything gets a nice, even slice. This is a gyuto. A gyuto is perfect for slicing. It has a really, really lovely length for it. It is not meant for this, quite frankly, knife cutting motion that is taught everywhere. It is taught in all sorts of culinary schools, and I fundamentally disagree with it. I disagree with its existence. I disagree with it. I think it's inefficient. I think it's inefficient, and it dulls your knife, and it's not actually as good for the food. However, it is faster. So maybe the word inefficient was incorrect. It is a little bit faster if you're just trying to go ahead and get stuff done, but that is not what we do here. So, gooses, there is no need to laugh. That's why we say yes, chef here. But I do appreciate somebody challenging me on something, because I have a reason for the things that we do here. I have a reason for the things that we teach here. Okay? So it's fine. It's chill. You know, I appreciate the fact that you, you know, wanted to make a comment of it. Okay, but we won't drag it any further. So, scallions. All of those, nice and set and nice and ready to go for today. What else are we going to need to go ahead and get done? Well, I believe it is also going to be time for us to grate some cheese. We're going to go ahead and grate the pepper jack and just get that done and ahead of us, just because we're going to need it for just about everything else today. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cheese grater out, and I have yet another unconventional method for it. But in the meantime, let's also take a look at what's going on with the onions, guys. They're just boiling. Oh, excuse me. I realize I've not really shown you what's going on with the onions. They're just boiling, they're just softening at this point. They've released quite a bit of water on their own, and now is the time that I think I'd be comfortable with taking the lid off, moving them around just a little bit, really, really breaking it up. And I can still tell these onions, guys, they're actually really quite firm. They're really, really holding up in their texture. So I'm still going to put the lid back on, because it helps to evenly steam it. I want these onions to really, really evenly cook until it is actually time for us to evaporate the liquid. So that goes back on. Sorry, I got too excited, Gooses. I didn't mean to be so mean to you. I apologize for that. I hope you're still here, and I hope you're still watching, but I will not take kindly to being told that I'm wrong on something. I would love to hear an explanation, though, of why you think you're right. That would be good, too. Okay, so back to this. We're going to go ahead and grate the pepper jack cheese. Everybody, my favorite method for grating cheese is not actually to do it standing like so, because we have to go ahead and we have to pick up all of the cheese that falls to the bottom. While the only advantage of this is that it does make pushing it through a little bit easier with gravity, I find that I do quite like using it like a mandolin instead, and then the cheese is going to be lifted with the grater itself, and it's going to be super simple and super easy. Also, guys, I have this lovely label maker, okay? And it's so fun to be able to use like that. Okay, the chicken is indeed still cooking, Sunny Peach Crush. We have quite a few new people today, by the way. For any of you guys that are new, Once again, I do encourage you guys to ask questions of any kind that you may have, but I'm also curious, how did you guys find the cooking stream today? Okay, so pepper jack cheese, and we're just gonna go ahead and grate it, and I'm just pushing it through. I'm using this almost like a mandolin, right? So much easier this way. Pushing it through and just getting it done. And again, guys, the advantage of this method, look how little cheese falls onto the cutting board this way. So much easier to just go ahead and just plop it inside of whatever container you have dedicated for this. But I think I chose a Tupperware that is slightly too small. The Super Bowl X Dara collab bringing people in. I'm sure there's a lot of people on Twitch at the moment to specifically avoid the Super Bowl Cup. I can't say that Twitch is exactly the place that I think of like, oh yeah, this is where the people that watch sports, this is where they're at, I have to say. I see August and Ryan. Well, guess what? It is lovely to have you here always with us. What, is somebody in the Super Bowl getting, you know, are they losing? Are they losing really hard? You found me through Reddit. Well, Sunny Peach Crush, you've been here for quite a while. You know, I got recognized. I remember this moment. I remember I got recognized at a Smash tournament once. And I was like, oh, did you like know me through like Twitter? Did you like know me through like my commentary? And they said, no, I remember your Reddit clips. And I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget it. That was mildly humiliating at the time. Okay, and we're grating it, and we're pushing it all through, and we're pushing it through. We gotta get all the pepper jack done, guys. There's no way around it. We just gotta grate the cheese. An excellent workout. An excellent way to get those arms up. Lord knows that I need them. What is a Super Bowl? Great, lovely. I love that ignorance. That's perfect. Your guys' minds are pure. And okay, why am I choosing to use this little tiny Tupperware container as opposed to just getting a slightly larger bowl? Well, it's because I initially wanted to avoid making extra dishes. But in the process of doing so, in very typical Daramgarian fashion, I have ended up making a larger mess than I normally would. I love pepper jack cheese, by the way. Also, you're welcome to use any combination of cheeses that you'd like. You can use Monterey Jack. You can do like pretty unaged cheddar cheese. An unaged cheddar cheese would just be able to melt a whole lot better than an aged one. Well, just like a relatively milder one. So pepper jack, a whole milk, mozzarella cheese as well would be fine. Whole milk, reduced moisture specifically would be best, full fat. Those guys melt up really nicely. But the reason why I'm choosing pepper jack is for flavor reasons. I'm simply better at eating my own food with a fork and knife since taking chef's advice. Wow, this technology works. Well, Yoon, I'm very happy that I'm able to still provide for you guys like that. Okay, this is a bit of a mess. This is all my fault at the moment. You need to slice, not chop. Yeah, there you go. But granted, most like tableware knives, like butter knives and whatnot, they're not particularly sharp either way. You know, it's only if you're using like an actually like sharpened steak knife or something. But I feel like that would be applicable for you. But if it's working for you for a butter knife, then I'm happy to help. I've never seen you pass the countertop. I assume you're floating like a Jetson. Yeah, that's me. That's all me. Okay, let's get this cheese done. Let's get the last of it pushed through, hopefully without any nitrile gloves in the mix. I'm really not in the mood to snack on that much cheese today, which is a travesty, but I don't know what it is. I'm just not really feeling it like that right now. Ooh, guys, the onions, they're going. They're looking really good. I'm just moving it around a little bit, just to, again, make sure that nothing is squelching on the bottom or anything. And keeping those guys going. Wonderful. What happened to bulking season? I'm still bulking. I'm just not that hungry at the moment, so, you know. I've been eating so much lately, guys. I've been trying to gain a little bit of weight. It is difficult. It makes you, like, genuinely not as excited to eat. It is actually unpleasant. My pressure cooker has been struggling to build pressure this whole time. It hasn't even done it yet. I don't know what's going on with it at the moment, guys. It's been going for like a while. I hope there's nothing wrong with my gasket at the moment. That would really, really suck. Maybe just because of how much water I have in there? Okay, so unfortunately, Sunny Peach Crush, I am not answering how much I weigh on stream. That might be a bit of a too personal of a question. I don't think you guys need to have those kinds of very exact medical details on my body at the moment. Okay. So, my method to avoid getting cheese on the cutting board was not particularly, effective this time around. And it's kind of all my fault because I have chosen to use its teeny tiny little Tupperware as its final resting place, as opposed to literally anything else, like a bowl. I think a bowl would have been good. Dara, what is your social security number? 00022. I don't know about the rest of it though. I forgot the last 4 digits. Okay. So, wonderful. All of my cheese, nice and beautifully shredded, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just throw that into the fridge so that it does not melt in the meantime or anything. Just to go ahead and keep it nice and cold. My chicken is still building up pressure. I think there might be something wrong with my lid or there's something wrong with my gasket. I'm not the happiest about it at the moment, I have to say. Also, Valerizard, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. So guys, really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and clean off my cheese grater as well as anything else with cheese stuck to it. This is not one of those things that you want to just kind of have sitting out for indefinite periods of time. You don't know what you're going to be doing next, so just get it cleaned up, get all that shredded cheese off of it before it dries, and it makes your life difficult. When it comes to blenders, when it comes to food processors, when it comes to cheese graters, and when it comes to garlic presses, those are the tools that you absolutely must clean immediately. Anything with a lot of little holes in it, you got to get it gone, guys. You got to get it gone, and you got to get it done before you proceed with anything else. And I'm also going to get these tongs out of the way, as well as my chickeny plate, because I actually have no use for them at this moment in time. Okay, clean as you go, guys. Super important. Is the pressure cooker leaking? It seems to have built up pressure. It is locked on top. It's not going to really take that much time for it to cook. So we might even pull it out early because it has just been boiling inside the whole time, effectively. But we'll see what's up with it. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what's troubling it. Okay, similarly, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly wipe off my station. I'm going to get all this cheese out of here. I'm going to try to sweep up some of the scallions on the floor. And I have slightly neglected my onions. I can hear it sizzling at the bottom. Too much water has evaporated, but that's okay. We have been on a pretty moderately low heat this entire time. So I'm just going to go in there, add in a little splash of water, just to stop anything from squelching, stop anything from burning. We're essentially deglazing the onions here, but it was unintended for that to ever even occur in the first place. But I do want to just be able to taste this onion so I can tell you guys where it is at in terms of its sweetness. Again, the longer that we cook it up until a certain point, it's just going to keep on getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So, just going to taste that really quickly, just to prove it to you that even without caramelizing, even without frying the onions, just about stewing them, they're really sweet. They're incredibly sweet. Very flavorful, very allium-y. It's like eating a boiled onion out of a chicken stock. But I'm going to add in a little bit more water to stop them all from squelching. And in just a minute's time, guys, we're going to be checking on the status of my baked potatoes. Because they have been baking for 40 minutes. I want to see if they're nice and tender inside, but it's also going to take as long as it needs to. It's one of those things that no amount of time is going to be exact. We just want a paring knife to go through it really easily. So, I'm getting this onion mixture, not really a mixture actually, just over to the heat. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a towel to remove my potatoes. In just a moment though, because right now I gotta clean up my station. My station is full of cheese at the moment, which is not ideal. I really hope that there is nothing wrong with my pressure cooker, guys. That would really, really, really suck. That'd be super, super unpleasant. And so, we don't want the potatoes to be completely fall apart tender. Also really important, because you do want it to just be firm enough that it's able to hold up on its own. Okay? You want it to have a little bit of structure to it still. If you also overcook it, you do end up losing the quality on the flesh on the outside as well. And what's also nice, guys, about a twice baked potato is that you're really able to, ensure that you can make this for like a party. You can do this for something ahead of time because you can stuff them ahead of time and then bake them as needed, which is also just a really, really nice thing about them. Okay. Has the quality of pizza gone down since the early 2010s? Absolutely, Sunny Peach Crush. I would be inclined to agree with that. A lot of the old pizza places, the quality control has really diminished, and a lot of articles talk about this, especially about how New Haven, Connecticut pizza has really overtaken as the best pizza in the country. So I would argue that the New York pizza quality has indeed gone down quite a bit. That's a very good point, Sunny Peach Crush. Okay, potatoes. Let's take a look at them. Let's see how they're going. I can tell you guys right now, the lack of wrinkles, these guys are probably not done baking yet. They're not looking all that wrinkly. They still look like they have quite a bit of structural integrity to them, but just to be sure, we're going to go ahead and just ever so slightly poke them with a knife, and I'm feeling too much resistance inside of them. Too much resistance, meaning it's going to be at least 15 more minutes, but first things first, I'm just going to give these guys a little bit of a flip. Give them a flip, just to ensure that they're cooking as evenly as possible inside of the oven. And back in they'll go for just a little bit longer until we have a texture that we're satisfied with. They do take a long time. I feel a lot of resistance. I feel a lot of resistance. That is not what I'm looking for. I don't want resistance. I want them to submit. Too much, huh? Okay, in they go. And I'm also going to rotate the sheet tray 90 degrees. Again, just in the interests of ensuring that all of these potatoes cook as evenly as humanly possible. 15 more minutes at the very least. But probably 20 if we're really honest with ourselves. And the onions can go back over here. And we're just gonna give them a little mix around. Again, just ensuring that nothing is sticking. Guys, we are cooking these onions down, and they're just gonna get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. But it just takes time. It takes time for the onion to properly collapse. Okay, so chicken is pressure cooking. It has about 15 minutes left on it, although I might pull it out a little bit sooner because it took so long for it to even build up pressure to begin with. We've shredded the cheese. We've sliced the scallions. We're cooking down the onions. What do we actually have left to do is the question at hand. So, we need to make the blue cheese dressing, although that could just be about the last thing that we do here today. We have to prepare the rest of the filling for the baked potatoes. So after the potatoes come out, we're going to essentially scoop out the flesh. And then we're going to mix the flesh in with a little bit of heavy cream, with the scallions, with the shredded pepper jack cheese, some smoked paprika, a little bit of crushed garlic, and I do think that's actually going to be about it for that. When the chicken comes out, it's going to get really nicely shredded. It's going to get mixed with the heavy cream. It's going to get mixed with the Frank's Red Hot. And then we're going to also add in a little bit of cheese to that. We're going to add in the stewed onions, and we got to prepare the sauce to go ahead and finish it on top. So, with all of that having been said, because of the fact that we're waiting, I don't think that there is much to be done for the filling prep for the baked potatoes. Let's go ahead and get started on my lovely dressing. So, this is how we're going to do a blue cheese dressing. The ideal blue cheese dressing has a combination of buttermilk, mayonnaise, and sour cream. That gives you the best creamy texture, that gives you the best amount of lactic tang. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every single time that I have a bottle of buttermilk in my fridge, I never really use it up in time. Instead, I have mayonnaise, I have sour cream. If I need to thin it out, I'll do a little bit of heavy cream in there as well. But we're just going to use the things that we have. I love blue cheese dressing. It's gonna be really tasty. So, let's go ahead and get my blue cheese out of the fridge. And we don't need a crazy amount of blue cheese dressing for today. I know I'm saying blue cheese a lot, please forgive me. Also, Coda Anthony, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. We're not gonna need a crazy amount. In total, this container is what? This is, how many ounces of blue cheese is in here? This is like 4 ounces. We're going to need probably less than half of this bad boy, okay? So let's just go ahead and get that in there. Again, I don't really wanna have enough blue cheese dressing to last. I really only want it for this today and nothing more. So, get him. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy in a little bit of plastic wrap, into a little plastic bagging, and store it in my fridge for safekeeping in the meantime. And we can always add more blue cheese if needed. Everybody, I love blue cheese. There is nothing to be afraid of. There is no need to be afraid of eating mold. You know, all cheese is aged. This one just happens to have the mold throughout it. It's pungent, it's flavorful, it's salty, it's got a lot of oomph to it. I love blue cheese. Okay, so really, really simple blue cheese dressing, ultimately. I'm going to still be checking in on my onions over here, just again in the interest of making sure that nothing is sticking, nothing is burning. Beautiful. They're just stewing down really, really slowly. Okay, we gotta go ahead and get a little mixing bowl. Probably my glass mixing bowls. Where are they at? Again, we're really not preparing a lot of dressing at all. It's going to be sour cream, it's going to be mayonnaise, it's going to be black pepper, loads of black pepper. I want to do a little tiny bit of mustard in mine, maybe. Oh, no, I want to do mustard in a baked potato, so I'll scratch that. And we're going to do a little bit of lemon zest and some lemon juice. So the first thing that we got to do this guy is we're just going to go ahead and crumble this up with a fork. And then the fork is going to be used to mix the dressing in to just make sure that none of it is stuck. Just use a fork, just break it up, just break it up, just break it up, break it up. Just like this, nice and easy. Crumble it up, crumble it up, crumble it up. And you do want to still keep it relatively chunky, all things considered. So this is going to be just fine. Okay, next, I'm going to be going in with my sour cream and my mayonnaise. We can always undershoot on this amount of ingredients, but my goal going into this was to use up all of this leftover sour cream that I have. Okay? I have this leftover container of sour cream. I want to be done with it. I want to be gone. So let's just get the last of this bad boy, and whatever else amount of liquid ingredients we need is going to be substituted for by the mayonnaise. And of course, this dressing that I'm showing you, it is wonderful for the next time that you're making buffalo wings. It is also excellent on salads. I love a good blue cheese dressing. It is perhaps one of life's greatest joys for me, everybody. But if you were to make this ideally with sour cream, with buttermilk, and with mayonnaise, you would get really just this incredible amount of lactic tang throughout the whole deal. Come on, buddy. All right. This sour cream container has just about been finished at this point. I'm going to keep the spoon here because I'm going to use another spoon to take out the mayonnaise and use them to just help each other out a little bit. A nice jiggly portion of mayonnaise, and it's all going to get thinned out with the addition of the lemon juice. And this is why I intentionally kept the sour cream spoon, just so that I have two of them really, really helping me out with this. And with the salt, we're not going to need to add in too much salt because the blue cheese in of itself is quite salty. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and rinse these off really quickly. Wasted a little bit of each, but who cares? It's mayonnaise. I think we'll live. I think we'll be fine, won't we? Okay, how's my onions going? Just checking in on them again. Yep, the water does seem to be getting reduced quite a bit. So I'm just going in there, I'm mixing it around, and I'm going to lower the heat once again, because that does not need to be so hot. Okay, next, let's go ahead and zest a lemon. I'm not going to really need an entire lemon's worth of zest. And a lot of people don't even include lemon zest in their blue cheese dressings, but I wanted to just so that I have a little bit of extra flavor throughout. Let's go in with my lemon zest, and I'm using my microplane, and I'm pivoting it, and I'm pivoting it, and I'm going all the way around, and pivoting it, and pivoting it. And I think that should be more than enough for today, but we can always adjust it if need be. Actually, maybe one more, why not, for good measure. This is where, of course, all of the aroma of the lemon is. And then everybody, last but not least, we're going to get a little bit of lemon juice in. Super important. You can always add, but you can't take any away. Especially with lemons, their acidity is so inconsistent. The acidity is so lemon. I'm gonna go ahead and take my favorite tool, my handy dandy little citrus press, and I'm giving it a gentle little squeeze. And I'm only adding a little bit of lemon juice at a time, guys. You don't know the acidity, you don't know the juiciness of your lemon until you actually get there. So that amount's gonna be fine for now. Next, I'm going to go in with a generous amount of freshly ground black pepper. And we're gonna mix this in and give our dressing a little taste. You want it to be thick, you want it to be chunky, you want it to be nice and acidic, you want everything to be really properly balanced, and you of course want to be able to get the flavor of the blue cheese throughout. So mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. All that blue cheese is kind of clumped up over there, so that guy I'm just going to make sure he's nice and evenly spread out. I'm probably going to do a little tiny pinch of salt in here as well, just because I'm not confident that that blue cheese is salty enough, I can tell you right now. So a little bit of salt, it does go a long way in something like this. And this is perfect. We'll give it a little taste. We'll see how it came out. I'm just trying to get all the blue cheese unstuck. There you go. Get that mixed in. Get that mixed in. It's expensive stuff. You don't really want to waste it. Quite thick. I'm predicting that this is going to need a little bit more lemon juice to balance everything out. But let's give it a little taste now. See how it came out. That is so heavy on the blue cheese. Oh my God. Guys, that is so good. That is so lemony, but it needs a little teeny tiny bit more acidity, and then it'll be perfect. This is so good, because let me tell you something. Every single time that I've had blue cheese dressing, it's never been blue cheesy enough. Either they're saving money, because again, blue cheese is not all that cheap, or they're trying to make it fit into the common palate a little bit more. I adore blue cheese dressing. We definitely do not need any more mayonnaise for this. This is thick enough as it is. Guys, I'm telling you, it is so simple, but it is so delicious. Really, really mixing in those chunks. Let's see. The real benefit of making the blue cheese dressing yourself instead of buying it store-bought is that you get to control as much blue cheese as you would like. This is perfect. I have never had a blue cheese dressing this intense, this blue cheesy from a restaurant before, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Ooh, we could do also a little bit of garlic in there. We could do a little bit of garlic. We could do 1 clove of crushed garlic just to really take it over the top. Do we want to do that? I'm thinking about that. I forgot to do the garlic. I think I was going to do garlic anyways, but you know what? I'm going to go intense. I'm going big. Let's do black pepper. A little bit more of that. Let me get my garlic press out, which I neglected to do so in the beginning. I got to check on my onions because I'm babysitting them. I'm making sure that they're not burning, that they're not scorching, that they're simply stewing down and turning nice and sweet over time. Lovely. And that they are, guys. So sweet. They're beginning to taste like candy at this point. Where's my garlic press? There she is. I'm doing a small little clove of garlic because it is just going to be raw garlic. So we don't want it to be too pungent at the end of the day. Right? Going to give that a little tap, a little smash, just so that we can go ahead and peel the clove. I am indeed L'Ecluse. How could you guess? I'm pretty sure that's what I'm using at least. I'm fairly certain that's the brand name. Let's get that garlic clove inside. Excellent. And we're going to need the garlic later on anyhow. There you go. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Mix that in. It doesn't look like a lot of garlic, but I'm telling you, 1 clove of raw garlic for this super small amount of dressing is absolutely going to be felt. Oh, did I splash some dressing? It seems like I did. That's okay, Turina. It's lovely to have you anyways here with us. I'm going to get the rest of this lemon out of here, though. Gonna put it out of sight and out of mind. The chicken is almost done pressure cooking. The potatoes are 3 minutes away from being done baking. The onions are almost done stewing. So everything is actually coming together right on time. Okay, let's taste that dressing one more time. Although probably with a separate spoon, just to ensure that we get a very nice even bite out of all of it. Yeah, the garlic's good. The garlic can do. I love blue cheese. Guys, this is easily, hands down, the best blue cheese dressing I've ever had. You know that? Oh, okay. Well, all right. It was good enough that I had to throw my spoon about it, I suppose. But hands down, it is easily the best. I can't talk about how good it is enough. Okay, so let's put this away. Let's get that into the fridge, and then I'm also going to clean up my station because I got a whole bunch of stuff here that I just want to get rid of. I want to clean up my station. I want to move it all around. It's okay, Tech Jansen. Don't worry. I go by whatever now. Okay. So that's good, that's looking good. The potatoes are just about ready to come out and we'll check on those guys again. The onions, let's check up on the onions now, please. So come with me. The onions, guys, despite the fact that we've not been browning these onions at all, they do almost kind of turn a little bit beige. They do turn... They turn a little bit golden as they cook down, even without necessarily caramelizing them. These have not been fried in the slightest. These have only been stewed, and yet they have the consistency of caramelized onions, except without any of the nuttiness. My pressure cooker is done. I'm releasing the pressure on the chicken. I'm tasting the onions. Like candy. So sweet. None of the nuttiness, none of the frying, none of the babysitting. It's still super, super sweet. That is the magic of just basically boiled onions. It doesn't seem all that magical, but let me tell you, it is. Potatoes are done baking. Onions, they just need a little bit of evaporating. I just want to get some of that excess liquid out. But that is perfect. Super, super tasty. Now, let's look at the potatoes. The pressure on the chicken is releasing. We'll shred that in a second. The potatoes, we gotta let them cool down a little bit, and then we'll scoop out all the filling. Potatoes are looking a little bit more cooked this time around. Let's see how they are. We're just going to quickly poke them with my knife. And see how they are. Let's see. Slides in, slides in, slides in beautifully. Everybody, these potatoes are now officially ready to be cooled down. I'm also gonna go get rid of my citrus press. I have no use for this guy at the moment either. Just get him rinsed off of all of that acidic lemon juice and throw it into my dishwasher while I'm at it. So, everything came together at just about the perfect time. The potatoes finished baking, the chicken finished pressure cooking, the onions have finished stewing, and the blue cheese dressing. This might be the best timing I've ever had. Now the potatoes, I do want to give them just about 10 minutes or so, just so I can cool down them enough that I can hold them with a towel and hopefully scoop out the flesh. I'm gonna move this guy over to the side though, because everybody, it is time for the most anticlimactic reveal of today, which is going to be just plain white pressure cooked chicken. It's not going to look that exciting. It's not going to necessarily look that glamorous, but that is okay because it is gonna get there. It's gonna get shredded. It's gonna get mixed in with everything that's gonna make it delicious. So let's go ahead and show that to you guys now. It is essentially just really, really aggressively boiled chicken. So please bear with me. It is unappealing. It is not that exciting, but not yet is the answer. Not yet. It is just chicken breasts, it is just water, and it is also just salt. It is just that simple. So we're going to make sure that it is at the point where it can be shredded. My onions, They have evaporated as much as they reasonably could, and I'm very, very proud of them. We have some lovely stewed onions. The chicken itself, I'm going to go ahead and remove it and add it onto a plate. And hopefully, these guys are indeed going to be so tender that they do just shred apart. And I can already feel them as they lift up, as they're picking up, that they are indeed so. Okay. Come on, buddy. Oh, there you go. That hiss, yeah, that's quite iconic of pressure cooked chicken. That does happen. It just really gets angry at you. It does not want to be messed with. Let's just make sure, though, that I'm getting all of that excess liquid out. Drip. Thank you. Lovely. It's almost hissing. It's like superheated on the inside. It is just ready to be shredded. Okay. Potatoes are cooling. Chicken is officially pressure cooked. It's ready to be shredded. It's going to get combined with the heavy cream. It's going to get combined with the hot sauce. Yes, I did Dr. Slow Bro. The reason why I've chosen chicken breast instead of chicken thighs is because chicken breasts are a little bit leaner. I'm not actually looking for the fattiness of a chicken thigh today, because it would make my buffalo chicken dip way too rich for what I'm looking for, okay? That is not what I had envisioned. It was not on my plan. It would make it too rich. It would make it a little bit too heavy. And we just want a really, really nice, simple lean meat for this. Okie dokie. So, guys, it looks chalky. It looks dry. It's okay. It's going to get there. You have to have some faith in the process. So all I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab 2 forks. And the chicken, guys, as you can just see here, it just shreds apart really, really easily. I would say really beautifully, but I think there's a lot more beautiful tasks in the kitchen. And for this specific application, because of the fact that this is a shredded chicken dip, this isn't a stew, this isn't a soup, because of the fact that this is not going to be used as filling, but rather just as a dip, we're going to be getting a really, really finely shredded texture on this bad boy. Okay? So really get in there, really separate those fibers, because the goal is for it to soak up the sauce. There it is. There it is. There it is. Taste it for salinity. You know what, guys? It's not overcooked. It's just really, really nicely falling apart. It's exactly what it needs to be. Just shred it up. Shred it up. Not that glamorous of a process. So, everybody, if you have any and all cooking questions, now would be a lovely time to ask me while I just go at it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Some people, they use claws. Some people, they use a hand mixer. There's more than one way to get this kind of a job done, guys. And we're going to combine it with the heavy cream and the Frank's Red Hot to form the base. Although that part, a little bit of gristle. There we go. It's all coming together, my friends. Although I should have probably had a separate place for it. I think I'm just going to go ahead. I need a cutting blade for the cilantro in a little bit. I could just get an entirely separate bowl. Yeah, that'd be just fine. Let's get a separate bowl to do this job. Why am I going in here for another bowl? That's the wrong cabinet. I've lived here my whole life. What am I doing? So whenever this just gets a little bit too crowded, I'm going to scoop out the meat and add it to my bowl. Beautiful little shreds of chicken. And keep the process going. So again, not that complicated here today. Really, really simple stuff that I'm showing you all, but I hope that I was able to give you guys sufficient explanations for why we do everything. How is pressure cooking it different? I don't know what that does, TBH. Adam, that is an amazing question, and I'm here to answer it for you. So, allow me to explain how a pressure cooker fundamentally works, or rather, how water boiling works. The temperature at which water boils is normally locked at 100 degrees Celsius. Water in its current state can't particularly go above 100 degrees Celsius, right? That's the temperature at which it boils. However, in a pressurized environment, in a setting where it essentially just has a really, really tight lid on it, water is able to boil at higher temperatures than 100 degrees Celsius. What does that mean? It means that you're able to cook food hotter than you would in any normal way. Because everything has water in it. Let's just say like a piece of chicken breast just by itself and you were to bake it. The chicken breast will never actually go above 100 degrees Celsius by itself because the water is constantly cooling it down. In a pressurized environment, in a pressure cooker, okay, what essentially happens is we're able to increase the boiling point of water and everything that is inside of the pot subsequently is able to cook faster because it's getting hotter than it would normally be capable of under regular circumstances. So that's why we pressure cook it. So it's essentially just a much more aggressive form of boiling. It is boiling it with pressure. And that's it. That's the only difference. And so you would do this, especially, I love it, my favorite use cases are stocks and shredded meats. The benefit of doing it with shredded meats is just because with shredded meats, you don't really risk overcooking it as much. You want it to be overcooked. And with stocks as well, it just saves you so much time. And also, I do like its use for beans, although sometimes with beans, it does lead you to mildly inconsistent results. The best beans to pressure cook, in my opinion, are something like chickpeas. They're able to hold up to the boiling very well without falling apart. But some beans, like white beans, I would argue not as good for pressure cooking because they do fall apart really, really easily. And that's not what you always want. So, I hope that helps. Okay, this is a lot of chicken. Guys, I know it's just plain shredded boiled chicken, but it's gonna get there. Just have faith in the process. You just gotta have some faith. It's definitely not getting more appetizing as it sits here either. But it will soon enough. Okay, that is nicely and finely shredded. Again, you almost kind of want it to have like that flossy, like that pork floss texture. It's all going to mop up the sauce. That is the point of a dip. That is the point of a buffalo chicken dip. A lot of people, I see them use like canned chicken for something like this, which I think is quite frankly ridiculous and bordering on evil. I don't actually see a use case for why you should ever be buying canned chicken, especially because it's not necessarily cheaper. But such is how it goes sometimes. So it goes. Okay, come on, my friend, open up. Thank you. And this just has to keep on going. I wish it was cold enough that I could pull this with my hands, but alas, I have no such privileges allotted to me at the moment. I just gotta go ahead and do it. Gotta get it done. People love hand mixers for something like this. The risk with a hand mixer is that for a lot of other applications, especially let's say you're doing something like a tinga or any other kind of like stew or chili, is that you'll get shreds of chicken that are way too small. You wanna be able to bite into the chicken in cases like those. But for the shredded chicken, a hand mixer would get you that really, really fluffy texture, which you really want. Okay. Yokomoto, welcome on in. Unfortunately, there is no egg today. Ooh, I need a haircut, don't I? I've said this every single time, but today I've complained about it the least, up until this moment, that is. Also, it is easier to shred it when it is like really, really fresh and hot. I don't hate you, Yokomoto, I promise. I'm just not really planning on, hold on. I just wasn't really planning on any egg things lately. It wasn't to spite you. Oh my God, have we been really shredding this chicken for like 10 minutes already? Definitely too hot to handle with my hands. It's a tedious process. If everybody's still watching, I'd love to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from all of you, please, and thank you. Good, thank you. I'm glad that you're also here with me, even though we're doing something like this. But it's all part of the job. It's all part of the process. A hand mixer would be nice. I just don't know what I would use it for if not this, you know? And my oven is still on because we're gonna have to bake everything once more, of course. Although I'm gonna be raising the temperature of the oven to about 450 and 20 degrees. I figured that would be a good temperature for what we got going on today. Okay. I don't know who Travis Kelce is. I have no idea who that is, Abe. Is that a football player? I assume because today is the Super Bowl. Well, come on. This chicken, substantially tougher to actually get shredded, I must say. I don't know why. I think it might have just been because of the fact that he's a little bit thicker. I also did not expect my chicken breast to be so huge. Yeah, that'd be a good first question to Travis Kelce, right? Who are you? Okay. Come on, please. Please. Shred. I'm begging you. Ugh, we have a little bit of gristle up here as well, which I'm going to go ahead and just quickly dispose of. Okay. Hands. It is cool enough for me to handle it now. Let's try to get this done. Okay. Ooh, it's hot. I said after I said it was cool enough to handle with my fingers. It's kind of smushing it first. Really helps to open the structure up. There you go. That's now shredding. That's shredding, that's shredding, that's going. Good. Again, not all that appealing, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I suppose. Okay. Come on. Ah, hot. And then we're not even going to be doing anything that different to the potatoes. We're going to indeed be opening them up and scooping out the filling and then mixing it in with a bunch of stuff. So these two dishes are actually quite alike if you really think about it. But we're just kind of differentiating them with their flavor instead. And a hand mixer would have been so good for the potatoes too. Ah, maybe I do want a hand mixer, but what else am I going to do with it besides shredding meat? I don't bake. I don't do cupcakes. I don't do brownies like that. I don't do sweet stuff. I guess I could, but why? Okay. Come on. Almost done with you. I'd really like to be finished with this process. This is tedious enough. Although almost, I gotta say, guys, I think one chicken breast might have just been plenty on its own. This guy is so huge. I don't think I want to make that much buffalo chicken dip food today. Okay. All right, I will leave those chunks and I will definitely do something else with them later. These are huge chicken breasts, all things considered. Okay. Wonderful. Chicken, everybody, is officially shredded at this point. It has been done. I'm gonna go ahead and start thinking about the potatoes, because the potatoes should now be hopefully cool enough for us to handle and to scoop out the filling of. Okay. Let's find out. There's only one way to do so. All right, my chicken, it can go behind me. Let's grab those potatoes and let's go at them one at a time. So, here we go. Nice, even baked potato. Here's what we're going to do, everybody. I need you all to watch. I need you all to listen. So, actually, it might be even cold enough to go ahead and handle it with our hands. Okay. Baked potato. We are going to find the side that is the most stable. Right? So this side is the most stable. This side, it seems to roll around a little bit more on. Here's the side that's most stable. Next, we are going to go ahead and just go ahead and cut off the top part of it. We're not cutting it in half. We're just simply making an incision and cutting off the top of the potato so that we have a really, really nice little opening just like so. We're going to need a mixing bowl in which we'll be scooping out the flesh of all of the potatoes. And then we're also going to be using one of my favorite kitchen tools, guys, my potato ricer. This is what's going to give us a very soft, fluffy, smooth mashed potato instead of having to mash it by hand. Well, again, a hand mixer would have been just fine for something like this as well. So we've sliced off the top of it. We're going to be using a cookie scoop, hopefully. Let's see, is this going to be too big? And the answer is not at all. And I'm going to be trying my best while preserving the shape of the potato. Oh, you see I've already made too much of an opening that way. I might just be using a spoon instead, I think. But I do want to keep about a 1/4 inch of potato around the sides of it, everybody. Really, really important that we do so. If you neglect that step, the potato is not going to have the structural integrity it needs to really hold up to then be stuffed again. So take a look. That's what we're looking for. We're getting this lovely little boat. We're getting this boat. A melon baller or a slightly smaller cookie scoop would have been the ideal tool for the job. So just feel around for wherever is the thickest part of the potato. Right? Feel it around, feel it around. There you go. This guy, I slightly compromised the sides of it, hence why it's so soft there. And I'm going to go in with a teaspoon now and hopefully get the last few little bits of potato from the corners. There it is. From the corners. There it is. Gorgeous. Smooth out the inside. Get that potato in. And now for my potato ricer. In it goes. Take a look at how easy the job is. Just twist it. I love this twisting one. Beautiful. Guys, all of that potato mashed in just one moment. That is why I love my potato ricer to death. It is one of my favorite kitchen tools. Okay, so that's one potato. And then I guess we can also get whatever potatoey flesh is over here. We're gonna get that guy put through. And then we're going to discard the top skins. We're of course going to be keeping this guy. This is our boat. This is our vessel. I'm gonna be putting him aside and getting the next potato. And now let's repeat this process with all of my lovely potatoes. So once again, find the side that seems to be the most stable. This is the most stable side. I'm slicing it open. Ooh, this guy's a lot hotter than the other one, let me tell you. What time is it? It's already 6:30? Okay. Let's see. Same exact deal. We go in there. We twist it. I wish I had a melon baller. That is also another kitchen tool that I don't actually own. So a teaspoon, I think, is going to do better than such a clunky cookie scoop. It's really going to get in there and allow us to make a nice little circle, draw it out, scoop it out. Try your best to not really mess up the potato too much, guys, okay? Just get in there to the best of your ability. There you go. And there you go. Come on, back in with you, my friend. Beautiful. Poked a slight hole on the bottom. Again, that's why a melon baller is ideal. It doesn't have the pointed shape of a spoon or anything. And yeah, Coda Anthony. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of pepper jack out there. People are making jalapeno pepper jack. People are making, habanero pepper jack. There's a lot out there to shop for. I personally don't love a pepper jack that's like outrageously spicy. I like the flavor of the chilies, but I'm not there for it to really kind of blow me away or anything. Just a little bit of spice. Okay. So, keep it all going. Keep it going. Get this potato all done like his others, like the other ones, that is. Okay. And there you go. Beautiful. That potato is now all ready. Get this guy in there. Just peel that up. If some of the skin gets in, that'll be okay. It's all going to get filtered through the ricer anyways. Whew, and we still got 2 more potatoes to do. Once again, a lot of tedious jobs today. I probably could have thought about like pre-baking the potatoes or something, but I definitely did not do that. Okay, and out it goes. Beautiful. We are at least saving so much time on the mashing, guys. You have no idea. So much mashing would have been had to get that same effect, to get that same level of fluff, to get that same really, really beautiful consistency out of my potatoes. So, stable side, we have found it once again. Let's get in there. Let's slice off the top. We have exposed the inside of the potato now. And let's pop it out. Beautiful. Yeah, I hope you guys are all enjoying the show so far, by the way. A lot of tedious tasks, but it's all part of the love of the game. The right equipment, as always in the kitchen, would have made this job a lot easier, but I've never really had a reason to buy a melon baller before, because I'm not really doing that with fruit. Okay, this guy's just about ready. I've slightly ruptured this one. That's all right though. Country girls make do after all. Love potato. I love baked potatoes, guys. You truly cannot get enough of it. Okay, one last one. And then we will be finishing the filling. But first, I gotta, of course, crumble this guy in. Get him inside, get him inside. Thank you, thank you. No potato wasted. And now let's rice it. Let's push it through. So fluffy, so soft, just the perfect consistency. And the optimal method, if you're doing something like gnocchi, if you're doing any kind of potato dumpling, this is what you absolutely should be doing. Okay, last potato, everybody. How well do the skins go through the ricer? That's a good question. Let's look at the bottom. So you can see that some of the skins, some of the roasted potato parts, the drier pieces, they do get stuck in the ricer. So you don't want to intentionally include them if your goal is to filter them. But if a few little tiny pieces get in there, it's no big deal. Also, Annie, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Thank you so much for the sub, and I hope you're having an amazing day today. It's been a while. Let's get that potato in. Beautiful. Come on, potato. I don't know why I chose to make 4 of them. That's quite a few, isn't it? Okay. Wonderful. Delicious. I'm telling you guys, a properly baked potato, so different from its microwave cousin. They're genuinely night and day. In their texture, in their consistency, and everything. The flavor is just actually so much more dense, so much more fluffy. Perfect. Okay, everybody, the last potato has been scooped out. Set them aside. Let's get whatever is stuck over here. 1, 2, and let's push it through. Last potatoes are in. Get it all out. Get it all out. Get it all pushed through. Thank you very much. And everybody, please say thank you to Mr. Potato Ricer, because he has done an amazing job for us today. He is all finished. We have gotten all the potatoes pressed. We've gotten it all out. And as always, with anything with a lot of holes in it, you want to clean it off immediately so that the potato doesn't dry off on the inside. So, that's all done. I'm going to rinse it off. I'm going to get the potato out of there. Do it now, and I promise you, you will thank me later. Brush the holes. Poke the holes out. Get them gone. Into the dishwasher she goes. Okay, let's finish assembling this filling. Let's get everything that we need inside. We're going to need a generous amount of salt. We're going to need a generous amount of scallions. We're going to need enough heavy cream for it to get nice and fluffy. We're going to add the pepper jack cheese and then also some paprika and mustard, just because why not? And I want a little bit of extra flavor. So, scallions. How many scallions? However amount this is. That's a lot of scallions. Beautiful. Next, some of the pepper jack cheese, because some of it's going to go on top and not necessarily be mixed in. So some cheese goes on now. Some cheese, again, very, very keen on my clarification there, but not all of it. We don't want it to take up too much volume inside of the potato. Next, we need the heavy cream component. And we just need enough heavy cream for it to just come together. You want this to be thicker than a mashed potato. Very, very, very important. So I'm adding this amount of heavy cream and then a little splash more, and then we can always adjust it. So I think I'm just gonna start with that amount for now. Salt. This is all quite bland at the moment. This needs to all be really generously seasoned. So 3 big pinches of salt go in. Next, black pepper. Loads of black pepper. How much black pepper? To your heart's content, my friends. Loads of black pepper. Some smoked paprika, just for like a little bit of color and a little bit of smokiness, as the name implies, as the name suggests. But I don't want it to profoundly taste of like the smokiness. And last but not least, let's do, ooh, I got some potato there. Let's do a little teeny tiny bit of mustard, just to give it a little bit of oomph. There we go, that should be good. Guys, let's fold it in. We're going to grab a spatula. Don't worry about over mixing this like some people say about mashed potatoes. We want it to be slightly starchy. We want it to all be slightly gluey because we want it to be able to come together properly. This is full of cheese. It's full of cream. It's full of scallions. This, my friends, is a magnificent bowl of food at the moment. It's a thing of paprika. It was smoked paprika, Coda Anthony, which is a type of chili powder. Paprika is a chili powder. Although sometimes chili powder is also referred to spice mixes for chili, which can be a little bit confusing to some people. So let's mix that in. I can already tell you, given that consistency, we're absolutely going to need another splash of heavy cream inside, because that's too thick. That's a little too dense at the moment. And it smells like a lot of mustard in there. Probably too much mustard, if I'm honest with you. I could have always added more, but I got impatient, as with many things in life. But look at that. And guys, just by itself, this would make a phenomenal, phenomenal mashed potato. It really would. I'm just making sure that the cheese is integrated throughout. Beautiful. Okay, let's taste that. Guys, that's good. That's like seriously delicious. The salt is right on point. If I had any more salt, I think I would be pushing it too far. That is so good. That is rich. You taste the mustard. You're tasting the paprika. You're getting the scallions. You're getting the bit of pepper jack in there. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely delicious. And now everybody, that means it is time for us to get stuffing. We're going to stuff each and every single one of my gorgeous potatoes. That is good. That is seriously, seriously good. There's nothing to complain about with that whatsoever, let me tell you. So let's think about the best way to do this. My original thought was to use the cookie scoop, but I do believe that the cookie scoop is too big. So I think actually the easiest thing to do would just be to spoon it in. Spoon it in and really, really pack it in. Make sure it goes all the way up to the edges. Pack it in, but leave a little bit of room at the top to just fill it with a little bit more cheese. Pack it in. Give yourself a really, really nice, dense potato. And we can almost make the potato bigger than it originally was with how we pack it in, right? We can give it back some of its original structural integrity, and we can provide ourselves a nice little divot. So that is now going to be just enough mashed potato going on the inside, maybe a little bit more, or a little bit less, excuse me. Beautiful. And the last thing that we'll do to it is top it off with as much shredded cheese as we desire. Just make sure those edges are folded over. We have a nice little divot for the cheese. Guys, like it never left, like we never scooped anything out of it. This is a proper stuffed potato. It is absolutely loaded with this amazing filling that we've devised for it. It is loaded, it is begging for the cheese, and I'm very excited about it. Let's do these guys one by one. And hopefully we're able to stuff them all appropriately. Okay, get it inside. Get it inside. I'm not gonna bake them all immediately, by the way. I would like to save some for whenever I'm in the mood for a snack. So some of them are just gonna be kept as is. And 2 of them will bake off, and we'll see which one comes out better. There you go. There you go. Really pack it in. Pack it in. Get it in there. Get it in those edges. Get it in those crevices. For a really, really beautiful stuffed potato. Okay. 2 of them done. 2 more to go. Start with 1 spoon at a time, just so that you ensure it's getting nicely spread out. You can see that part of it is empty. Well, we'll go in there with a little bit more potato. These guys can take quite a bit, so be generous. There you go. And keep packing it in. Okay, okay, okay. There you go. That will be just enough for this guy right here. And it's important that you don't cut off too much off the top, because you want to be able to fill it back as much as reasonably possible. I put a little bit too much pressure and the potato ruptured, but that's okay. We have one last one to do. Gentle, delicate motions are key for this. The more of the top of the potato that you end up cutting, the more of the filling that you're going to have left over at the end. You really want to be able to maximize volume. And I think in my case, I might have been too generous with how much I've carved off the top. I might not have given myself as much volume as I could have. Pack it in. Pack it in. So yeah, it seems like we have quite a bit of the potato left over after all of that. And you really want to have some concavity to it. You really want to have that divot so that it is able, indeed, to take the cheese. Okay. That filling, I'm saving. That filling, in of itself, an amazing mashed potato. That, my friends, is just a meal in of itself. But we're taking the whole thing really off the charts with the restuffing and the re-cheesing of it all. So that is my twice potato, my twice cooked potato. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put 2 of them away. I'm going to go ahead and put my mashed potato away, clean off my station, and then we'll top 2 of them off with cheese. And then before we bake them, we'll be doing the still the buffalo chicken dip, which has not yet been finished. Guys, thank you so much for being so patient with me. I didn't expect this to be so much work, but you know what? I do not mind, because this would have been way too short of a stream if it was not this much work. So, 2 of these potatoes are gonna get put away. I'm just gonna wrap them in plastic right now. Just make sure that they're nice and safe for whenever I need them. Again, that is why these kinds of dishes, guys, so nice for a party, or just so nice to keep for yourself at home. Even if it is a little bit elaborate, it just reheats exceptionally well. It is essentially built for it to be reheated well. Okay. Get this guy put away as well. Actually, ooh, that one's gonna be the moneymaker. That first one that we did, I know that one for a fact. That's a really, really beautiful one. More chat, less work, that's right. Okay, so I have these two potatoes now, guys. The last thing that we have to do to them before they get put into the oven, which we won't do immediately because we gotta work on the buffalo chicken dip still, is of course, get the rest of the cheese on them. Get the rest of the cheese on, pack it in, but you don't want it to be completely and totally overflowing. And you don't want to pack it in so densely that the cheese never melts. So just like that is perfect. And let's get the same thing going for this potato right over here. Let's get the same thing going for this potato. Get it on, get it inside. And only bake them at 420, 425 until the potato is reheated and the cheese is all melted when you're ready to serve it. So, there we go. Hello, Eloise. Welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Guys, my potatoes, they're ready for baking. Now, it is time for us to move on to doing the rest of the buffalo chicken now. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Ooh. I'm just moving my stewed onions away. I'm going to move these potatoes away. And now, let's get this pot back over here. Let's get all of my shredded chicken, this big, big, big pile of shredded white meat. Oh my God, is that going to be able to fit inside of this pan? Am I going to need to get a different vessel? Do I dirty another little pot? Or do I just kind of keep it happening with this one? Is the question. The smart answer would be to get a different vessel and not make it messy and just get two different dishes dirty. The dollar answer is we're gonna make it work. We're gonna figure out a way to make it happen. We're gonna cook the heavy cream in there. We're gonna heat this chicken up. We're adding the heat. We're going to pour in enough cream for it to be mostly hydrated. This is going to be a mistake. I know it. I know that this is going to make a mess. I know what I'm doing though. I'm a professional. A bunch of heavy cream goes in, and then I'm going to try my best to mix the heavy cream into all of this chicken. Is that even going to be possible? We're going to need much more heavy cream than that though, to actually have a chance at hydrating this bad boy. We're going to need another big glug. I never said anything that we're doing here is healthy, by the way. Come on, Cap, thank you very much. Okay, let's try our best to really incorporate this heavy cream into all of the shredded chicken. I never said it was going to be easy, but I said that we're going to make it happen, and it's going to mop it up. And then we're also going to go in with a generous amount of Frank's Red Hot, because this is, of course, a buffalo chicken, and you can't have buffalo chicken dip without Frank's Red Hot. Big glug of it goes in, and we will adjust it as needed. The goal now is just to get the chicken nice and seasoned with that, and to get it nice and hot, and for it to mop up all of the heavy cream. And we're going to be adding some pepper jack inside, and topping it off with pepper jack. But I can tell you guys right now, that is not enough Frank's Red Hot. And it's all stuck in just one part of the chicken. Oh my God, I can't believe I made this much buffalo chicken dip. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all of it, so I hope that you guys are gonna be able to help me eat it all. Okay, more Frank's Red Hot, I can just tell purely by the visual cue of it all. Get it in there, get it inside, move it around. And of course, as this is heating up, it is becoming slightly more flexible. It is now able to move around a little bit more freely as I attempt to evenly incorporate all of these ingredients. And as for the salt, we'll adjust it after we really get the Frank's Red Hot mixed in, just so that we don't add too much salt by the end of it. Especially with the addition of the pepper jack cheese, we really want to be able to control the salinity of this all. This is an aggressive amount of chicken, let me tell you. Really open it up, move it around. All of this would be easier had I decided to use a smaller vessel, or a bigger vessel, excuse me. Oh, a lot of work. Okay, and now this is the point where I'm gonna go ahead and taste it for the Frank's Red Hot. Also, thank you so much for the sub. I really, really appreciate it, Suspicious Kobold. Welcome on in. Hope you're having an amazing day today. Let's give this bad boy a taste. Tastes like Frank's Red Hot. Tastes like heavy cream. Not a whole lot to complain about, truthfully. That's delicious. Okay. That, to me, is actually a pretty sufficient amount of Red Hot, especially considering that we're going to be adding in the pepper jack. I'm going to try it one more time. I lied. A little bit more. Another gentle glug goes in. Although those are not really compatible terms. Gentle and glug. A glug is anything but gentle, truthfully. Okay. Quite the squelching noises. Wonderful. We're all very professional here. Open it up. Just really make sure that all of those ingredients are as incorporated as possible. Taste that again. Delicious. It's quite good. Okay. Everybody, that's where it needs to be. We're going to turn off the heat and we're going to add a handful of cheese just directly inside, and then the rest of the cheese is going to be used to go on top. So a handful of cheese inside, maybe save a little bit. Just half melted in. It's just going to help to combine and glue all of this good stuff together. And this, my friends, I promise you, is going to make for one delicious dip. Ideally, you'd be using a little bit of cream cheese in addition to all of this. It's going to really take it over the top as a dip, but this is going to be just fine. Okay. The cheese should be just about mixed in now. Everybody, it is now finally time for us to assemble. I'm gonna make sure that I have the space. I'm gonna make sure that I have everything that I need to assemble this bad boy. And let's get it done. So come with me on my cute little ceramic baking dish. I might be filling up 2 of these, if anything, but I don't think I have enough cheese for 2. I think I only have enough cheese for 1. Let's see how much of this filling we can get inside. Oh, come on, buddy. Thank you. That's pretty good. Although, I don't really know if I want to do 2 of them, as much as I just want to save the shredded chicken and then do something else with it later on. Okay, that actually looks like a very, very sufficient amount of chicken in here. Now, I'm going to be going in with my onions and little teeny tiny divots throughout. I know it doesn't look that exciting yet, but I promise you, once it bakes up, once it all gets garnished, there's not going to be that much to be upset about. So please stick with me through the process. Get that bowl in there first. Let's get my stewed onions just throughout, and almost like little tiny pockets here and there. Or maybe I can just gently mix it in. But I didn't want the stewed onions to get completely lost in my chicken dip. So I'm almost just kind of folding it inside. I want to be able to bite into the occasional bite of them. Okay. 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 And over here. And let's just gently almost fold these guys throughout. But we're going to stop it right there. Wonderful. There she is. The onions, they go such a long way for adding a little teeny tiny bit of sweetness that it desperately needs to go ahead and liven it all up. So, that is officially filled. Now, we top it with cheese, of course. Today, there is absolutely no shortage of cheese whatsoever. Just get that spread out evenly, right on top. It is a dip after all. This is not an entire meal, so we ignore the caloric density of this, especially because it's a party food. It is full of cheese, it is full of cream, and then everybody, last but not least, after it bakes, it's going to get hit with the rest of the fresh scallions, and it's also going to get hit with the cilantro and the blue cheese dressing. Let's go ahead and do a little recap session before we bake it. If everybody's watching, I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please, and thank you from each and every single one of you here with me right now. I'm gonna just put a couple of things away while I can. Wonderful. I know it doesn't look that exciting, but I promise you, the final plating of it all, I think it's gonna be something really, really special. So, we're doing a little buffalo chicken dip here. Pressure cooked chicken breast. Got it to the point that it can be shredded. Mix it with heavy cream, mix it with Frank's Red Hot, and mix it with pepper jack cheese. Topped it off with more pepper jack cheese, and after it bakes, it's gonna get finished with a homemade blue cheese dressing and a bunch of fresh scallions and fresh cilantro right on top. Then I have my double cooked baked potatoes. Not this guy, that's the remnants of my shredded chicken. Get my potatoes back over here. Thank you very much. These are my double cooked baked potatoes. I am tripping over my words today. Potatoes, baked whole, not in the microwave, not in aluminum foil. Just baked as is with a little bit of oil. We scooped it out. We mixed it with heavy cream. We mixed it with a little bit of mustard. We mixed it with scallions. We mixed it with pepper jack, as well as some smoked paprika. And now both of these are going to go into the oven until they're both bubbly, until they're both hot, until they are both really, really, really delicious. And now I just have one question. Can I get my potatoes onto the same thing as this? Because they should roughly take just about the same amount of time. And I do believe we can be really economical today. We have saved so much of equipment that we could have otherwise just have gotten dirty. Let's get this guy into the oven, 420 degrees, until the cheese is bubbly, until it's golden and everything is heated through. It's gonna take maybe about 5 minutes or so, I think, at 425 degrees, but it's going to be purely by vibes. So let's get it inside, and then it'll be ready. And my potatoes, and I realized this, the potatoes and the buffalo dip itself, they are so similar in appearance. The last thing that we gotta do, guys, is we're going to go ahead and slice the cilantro. Before that's the case, let's clean up. Let's take advantage of all of this passive time. Let's take advantage of this downtime. Let's put away the hot sauce. Let's put away the seasonings. Let's make the kitchen a little bit cleaner, just so that we have a little bit more peace of mind. I have my leftover mashed potato filling that I don't want to throw away. I'm gonna get it packaged up. Take advantage of your passive time, everybody. Super, super, super important. If you do not, oh, I forgot to add the garlic into the potatoes. Oh well, that is a bit of a shame, actually. Oh well, that's what happens when you start moving through things a little bit too quickly. I want to do some garlic in there. Oh well. So guys, once again, if you have any cooking questions, now that we have a touch of downtime, this would be a lovely time to go ahead and ask me. Otherwise, we'll just be cleaning up in just a second. Okay, and I gotta go ahead and get my mashed potatoes, my previous potato filling, get all that guy put away. Okay, How would the garlic affect the taste? I mean, Eloise, the answer is it'll taste more like garlic. It's not really going to affect or change things as much as it is we're just adding garlic. So the answer is make it more delicious. Okay, and I'll get my mashed potato put away. That's really good. The potatoes, guys, just by themselves, honestly, that might be the real takeaway here. Like this mashed potato filling would be amazing inside of a pastry with fried onions. Ooh, that's what I want to do. Like a phyllo pastry stuffed with potatoes, and on the inside of all the potatoes would be some cheese. How good would that be? We can do like a ball of mozzarella in the middle of it. We have the crispy phyllo on the outside, mashed potato in the middle. That would be pretty phenomenal, wouldn't it? Okay, this guy I'm gonna get soaked in some water. I'm gonna get my blue cheese dressing out. That is soon ready to go on. And let me check on this guy. How are we doing? Everybody, the cheese is melting. It looks beautiful. Let's hurry. We gotta get the cilantro ready in time after all. We really want the cilantro and the scallion to liven it all up. So, to the cutting board we go. Let's get my cilantro out of the fridge, and we're gonna pluck it from the stems, of course. Pluck it from the stems because we don't want any of that woody, fibrous bite. The big stems all gotta go. Pluck it and get it out of here. Pluck it and pluck it good. Beautiful. Just really nice, crisp, fresh cilantro. Get all those leaves separated. Again, some of the thinner stems are A-okay. I just don't want any of these big, thick guys over here. We don't want them, we don't need them. Okay. There you go. Everybody, let's gather them all up. And we're going to gently slice them. Not chop them, but just slice them all the way through. Gather them up and slice and slice and slice and slice and slice and slice. And we gotta go fast. We gotta go fast because, let me tell you, once this chicken dip is ready, it's ready. Although I probably could have heated it up a little bit slower without adding the cheese directly on first, but that's okay. And as soon as it's ready, it's ready. There's no way around that. Move it around one more time and just slice it and slice it and slice it and get it all processed. Get it all processed. Beautiful. Done. Let's mix it with my scallions. And that is my garnish. Almost like a taco garnish. Let me check on all that good stuff inside of the oven. Oh my gosh, everybody, it looks, truthfully, wonderful. It looks wonderful. It looks good. The only thing is, I might give it a little bit more time. I want to really have it bubble up on top. So I think I'm going to turn on the broiler now. Turn on the broiler, let it go, let it get all bubbly, let it get a little bit crispy on top before we garnish it. I'm gonna put the rest of my stuff away that I no longer need. Get it out of here, out of sight and out of mind, my friends. I'm gonna make sure that I have a spoon ready for my amazing blue cheese dressing, and I'm gonna get my cutting board and bench scraper into the dishwasher. I'm so excited about this because it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be delicious. I can promise you that. Get my bench scraper gone as well. We're cleaning as we're going. We're making the most out of all the time that we have together today. Okay, wonderful. And just wipe off my station. I was indeed Coda Anthony. That is indeed what I was talking about. And I'm gonna quickly clean off my garlic press while I have a chance for that guy as well. I should have cleaned them off sooner, I kept him around for the garlic, for the potatoes, and then I neglected to use him. So I hope he's not too upset at me. All right. I don't know why I've given this garlic press so much personality above like all of my other kitchen tools. He's gotten like selective treatment. Okay, let's see. Is it ready to go? Is it ready to come up? The answer is not yet, everybody. The cheese is just beginning to bubble. The cheese is just beginning to get golden on top. But we want to be ready for it whenever it comes out. We're going to do a dollop of blue cheese in the center. We're going to do the herbs all the way around it. And then we'll be able to eat. I'm going to get my tortilla chips out because we're, of course, going to be scooping some on to these tortilla chips. Although I should remove this label from it. There you go. And also, Mitzi, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Mitzi, you have joined at the perfect time because right about now is when it's going to go ahead and come out of the oven. It's going to be ready. It's going to be bubbly. We're going to garnish it, and then we're going to eat it. Also, Hyatt Meister, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. We're in the final stages of the show for today. We're in the final stages, guys, so please bear with me. Oh, a sort of pot pie with the chicken filling would be great as well. Yeah, it's shredded chicken and it's heavy cream. That's like halfway there to a pot pie as it is, isn't it? I'm gonna have a sip of water, something I haven't done since 2.5 hours ago. It's under the broiler, it's getting nice and melted, and everybody, I believe it's gonna be time to pull it. It's got that crust. We have that lovely cheese crust developed. If everybody's ready, I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please and thank you, right now, because it's time for us to do the reveal. So, let's take it out. My potatoes, as well as my dip, both of them ready, at the same exact time. Amazing. There it is. Gorgeous. Very, very pleased with that. Very happy about that. Can't say I'm ready to complain about that. And now, it's time to do the garnishes for it. We're all done with the oven. Let's do it. Let's do a nice, proper dollop of my blue cheese dressing. Right on. The middle. If I had a squeeze bottle, I would drizzle it all around, but alas, I do not have access to that at the moment. And we're going to go in there with my scallions and my cilantro. And of course, I must take a little video of it for myself, and then we'll pull into it and see how it came out. This is, as far as party food goes, pretty ideal. Okay, so that's ready to go. Everybody, I'm really excited to eat it. Before we dig into it, before we scoop a little bit of it out onto a tortilla chip, I'm going to have to do something a little bit cringe. It is time for yet another potential dollar thumbnail. And let's hope that by lifting this guy and by tipping it over, we're not going to spill it all over my kitchen. So let's hope the cheese has successfully almost glued this thing on, huh? I've already burned myself on the sheet tray in an attempt to remove it. So that's already not an amazing start, I have to say, as far as it goes. So let's see, hopefully if I move fast enough. Very housewifey, isn't it? Holding the two towels here. It's almost like I'm presenting a pie. Hope my hair looks good. Acceptable. Hold on, I should have adjusted my hair beforehand. Please forgive me for how cringe this is. I have to do this, okay? It's part of making content. I'm running a cooking show, but I am not immune to doing the YouTube, car review thumbnail thing. That's what I'm effectively doing right now. So please forgive me. I have to look good for this, okay? I have to make sure that my bangs look good for this, okay? It's important. It's all a part of the process for me. I have to give the poggers face. Mitzi, I don't think I would do that. I'm afraid I'm not doing that. No, it's not going to happen. Okay, Haley looks good. Well, no, it's, my bangs are messed up, guys. It's a cooking show, but this is important. This is all really, really part of the process, all right? You can't underestimate this. Okay. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you asked for, Mitzi? Ah, help me. I need a haircut. Okay, that's enough. Okay, hopefully that came out good. Let's eat. It's time to eat. That's enough of that. We're gonna do the recap. We're gonna eat. We're gonna go ahead and plate it. Let's do it. Well, there's actually no way to plate it. It is party food innately. So you kind of just have to go with it as it is. So let's grab. This lovely dip. There she is. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? And let's also grab my potato, throw that onto a plate, and grab a fork and a knife. And for the dip, we're of course going to need a spoon. And this also might be another picture moment. Sorry guys, it's all part of the job of making this kind of stuff. Get that towel out of here. Ooh, it's blue cheese dressing, not quite cream cheese. There's no cream cheese in any of this. I am indeed from New York, Eloise, you got it? All right, is this potato too hot for me to grab? The answer is yes, that is way too hot, and I really should not have done that. And now, let's grab a little spoon. Everybody, it's time for us to dig in. We're going to grab some of this. We're going to scoop it onto a tortilla chip. We're going to devour it alongside my twice-baked potato. So everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here with me. This is why you want to make twice-baked potatoes. They're so lovely. They're so easy to make. They're so impressive. They have such amazing structural integrity. And you can even make it in advance and then reheat it as needed before you stuff it with the cheese, of course. It's got the potato, of course. It's got the smoked paprika, a little bit of mustard in the pepper jack cheese. Super, super simple, but really delicious. Just a slightly elaborate presentation of that. So first we'll go with this guy. Outrageous. It's so much better than a plain baked potato because the filling's already ready for you. That was phenomenal. That's really delicious. It's pleasant, it's simple, it's comfort food. It's everything you'd want. It's really phenomenal. And the texture of it, it's genuinely excellent. And now guys, we have to have a tortilla chip with some of my buffalo chicken dip. Not that clever of a rhyme, honestly, but that's okay. Just that as it is. Let's of course get some blue cheese dressing on top. Cheers. Oh my God. Oh my God. One more time, please. The contrast, unlike the slightly drier layer on top, like the moister layer, the blue cheese did not ruin anything, so it's amazing. It gives you all the funkiness that you could possibly need. Now, the question is, how do I get this into my mouth? It's phenomenal. It's so good. There's not much to analyze. You guys can guess what it tastes like. Let me tell you, the magic is in that homemade blue cheese dressing. It's so blue cheesy. That's exactly the way that I like it. Wow. It's phenomenal. That's good. This is ideal party food, you know? It reheats. It's something that you can make in advance before you go ahead and top it off with the cheese. It's a crowd pleaser. This is the kind of a thing that everybody would love. Everything. The blue cheese dressing was sour cream, mayonnaise, the blue cheese, lemon zest, lemon juice, lots of black pepper, and a little bit of garlic. And that's it. Super simple, but really amazing doing it yourself. You get to really control the proportions. Guys, that's it for today. Thank you all for being with me. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being a part of the show. It was lovely and awesome to have each and every single one of you with me today. Hopefully next time I am going to get a haircut. Next week's stream is going to be right here, twitch.tv/DaramgarTV. Housekeeping. If you'd like to support the show, the best way to do so is my Patreon. Check out the Patreon, !Patreon. It's the best way to directly financially support the show. I've turned off all the ads on Twitch. We're not really doing sub goals here or anything. You could also subscribe if you'd like to, but the Patreon is the best way to directly support the show because there's a lot of expenses that go into this. And then there's also a Patreon exclusive Discord. We also have a public community Discord. You can also type in !Discord for that. We have a lovely community of people. Join it, talk to people about food, show some of the things that you've cooked, ask me cooking questions in there. I'm going to see you all next week, right here, twitch.tv/DaramgarTV. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your Sunday. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of this off camera. So thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. And I will see you all next week's time, 5 p.m. EST, as always.